Hi guys, today is Sunday. Happy Sunday. This is Carrie from Fullerton Professional Organizing, and today I wanted to talk to you about one of my favorite organizers that I have been studying her ways of doing things is Abby Lawson, and she has some things to say about organizing your creative space by Abby Lawson, and I wanted to touch base on some of her thoughts. It's really easy when we have a creative space like our office or our craft room. It really is easy to get really busy and allow that space to get cluttered because we're using it, we're taking things out. Sometimes we have a project that may take more than one day, and it's real easy to just leave things out. I do have some bins that I have created to house some of my projects so that I take the project out and everything stays in that bin while I'm doing the project, and then I can just put the lid back on and put that back in its place, and then the project is all together and still ready to go. It's just like leaving it out, but it's easy to put up. What I use for that are some Dollar Tree has some muffin carriers, and they're $1.25, and they carry about 8 muffins or 12 muffins. I'm not sure, but it's a square and it holds some muffins. It's $1.25, and I use that as my unfinished project container so that I can keep everything. But these are some tips from Abby Lawson, and what she says about that is really easy for your office and craft rooms to get cluttered and full of stuff, which makes them feel overwhelming to organize. If you're finding yourself avoiding a certain creative space, or you hate taking something out, certain supplies, because it's difficult or overly complicated, that is a good sign that you probably need a new system, or to tweak the system to make it a little more easy to put away as it is to take out, and you're not dreading tackling your crafts or your office work or whatever that task may be. Now, if you're going to organize your creative space, you will need to know that what you have, so that you know what type of storage you will need. You can do this by putting all like items together. I try in my office, I have a whole shelf. It's office supplies. Whole shelf is sewing. A whole shelf is crafting machines. Another may be all ribbon. But categorize your items and keep like items together, and that helps a lot. Declutter. If you have items that you no longer use but are in working condition, then donate them, and there are different organizations you can donate them to, youth groups, at church, your children's church group. There's always Goodwill. There's always organizations that can either use those craft items or find someone that needs them. Make a list of everything you need in that creative space and the type of storage you're going to need for those items. Also, you're going to think about, when you organize your space, no matter what space it is, you've got to also factor in the cleanup of that space. don't get everything organized and then forget all the cleanup that comes on afterwards. Complete the entire project so that before you go on to another project, so it's all completed. Sometimes you get some task completed and then you don't completely go full circle by you vacuum but you don't put the vacuum cleaner up. You fold your laundry but you don't put the folded laundry up. That's what we mean by clean up. Do the whole task, not just the bulk of it and then leave something for later. Now, here are some ideas if you have a space that is really, really overwhelming and you do not know where to start or where to begin. Start with the obvious items. It could be a room, a junk room. It could be your garage full of everything. You know, those spaces that you just look at and they're completely overwhelming from the get-go, and you just try and you just don't know where to get started. Where these, I've got several ideas for you to get started. Start with the obvious items in the space. If, for example, if it's a child's room, they may have trash in their room. You start with the trash, piles of dirty clothes, clean, maybe they've got a pile of clean clothes. In other rooms, it might be your broken items, stained items, items that you know right off the bat that are obvious items that you don't need, don't use. Just start with the stuff that doesn't take any energy to think about. You already know right off the bat. And that way you don't have to start with the hard tasks. Now you can see some progress and that will keep you motivated. Now take out anything that may go into another room. We're going to go back to a child's room. Maybe it's dirty dishes that they took to their room, dirty cups that need to go to the kitchen. Maybe it's the dirty clothes that needs to go into the dirty clothes hamper, or something like that. Some items, you may have some seasonal items that you haven't put away yet. Items you know that you're going to donate or sell. Again, this will free up space and your task will not feel as overwhelming. Start maybe in a small space first that you know is going to be easy. Start with putting everything from a flat surface into a basket and just tackle the items that were on that flat surface that you now have in a basket. The table is now clear, so that's progress, and then you have a small basket of items that you can tackle first. That's a good way to get started. One flat surface at a time, one drawer at a time, maybe one shelf or one cabinet at a time. But put everything in that basket and just tackle one piece at a time from that basket. Excuse me. Maybe you can go in and you know that there's something that's been driving you crazy in that space already. Maybe it was just hanging up a hook to hang up backpacks. The backpacks continually are thrown on the floor, and you just need a hook, or a hook in the bathroom for towels, because they tend to not hang up the towels. And if you had a hook instead of the over the bar, maybe they would use that. So you're gonna think of that thing that drives you the craziest and tackle that first. Get that done. And it could be something as small as just installing a hook. Even if it's a temporary solution, solving one problem can really get you motivated to tackle the other areas. Break items up into groupings. Start making categories by putting all the office supplies in a pile, all the dirty clothes in a pile, or all this craft items in a pile. Making sure that all these categories are created to separate the stuff, because sometimes it is just getting started, and you may not get started with the decluttering. You may not get started with the organizing. You may just get started by putting all like items together. You can do them all in baskets, and then take one basket at a time to the living room while you're watching TV, and start putting those items, decluttering those items, deciding what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. But break items up, start making categories by putting all like items together. And categories could be toys, clothes, home decor, like I've been saying. And now tackle each pile one at a time. Get some great music going, or a great podcast that you've been wanting to listen to, like Fullerton's Professional Organizing. But something that you look forward to listening to, that'll make your time go by faster. And just start with one category at a time, picking out one item from that category at a time. Start with a fun space first. Maybe you've been looking forward to setting up a craft cart, a small little craft cart that doesn't take up much time and energy, and you can focus on just the craft cart to begin with. Just start with something that you're going to be excited about, and that excitement will get you energized and motivated. Maybe there's a project you're excited to start on, and you are excited about crafting, and you have ideas already for this area. You can start there. If you are having trouble getting started, a project that feels fun can help get that ball rolling for you, and build momentum for the trickier projects in the space that may still need to be done. Or maybe it'll energize you to get other projects in your house organized. Again, these wins can help get us started and can be enough to help us keep going with the rest of the house or other projects in the home. All right, well, I hope these ideas were helpful. A little bit of these ideas came from Abby Lawson, a favorite blogger of mine. Her blog is Just a Girl and Her Blog. I believe that's the name of it. And she's got a lot of interesting ideas, and she's got a YouTube channel, and she has some unique ways of organizing, and I really enjoy that. But I also love to use baskets when I organize. I love to use Ziploc baggies. I love to contain things so that they're easy to organize. And that's how when my kids' rooms were a mess, or when I was younger and didn't know how to tackle a space, that's what I would do. I would take the most easy items first, and I would tackle them, and it would lift some of that overwhelmed feeling that you had because you saw progress. Sometimes, if it's your bedroom, sometimes just making the bed makes the whole room look better, just making the bed. And that will energize you to tackle the rest of your bedroom. Or maybe in your closet, it could be starting with your shoes. Just figure out how you want your shoes to look in the closet, or where you want to organize them and how nice and neat you want them to be. It could be just the top shelf of one top shelf in your closet, depending on what kind of shelving you have. I have just a top shelf, and you may just want to tackle that and get that organized, and it'll energize you for the rest of the closet. In a kitchen, it could be your utility drawer or a drawer in your kitchen that'll get you motivated to keep going. Sometimes projects will take 5 minutes. Sometimes you can spend 15 minutes and then leave and come back. Now, there are times that I have worked in my office for hours and will stop and do a quick craft project and then come back to my work, just because I need a little break. And a craft project doesn't only break up the work, but it also is something fun to energize you and get your creative juices and your happy feelings about going back to the project that you're working on. It energizes you. So find your why and find that one little thing that can motivate you to keep going. Sometimes it's a timer to just you can play games with yourself, beat the clock, and it'll keep you going. Sometimes just knowing that the alarm's going off in 20 minutes and that's all you need to do in that space is helpful. So just find what works for you. Try to do it when the time of the day when you're the most energized. Don't eat a full lunch and then expect to be energized right after lunch. It may be first thing in the morning, or it could be before you start getting ready to wind down for the evening. But find what energizes you. But these are just some tips to help get you started, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next video. And thank you for watching, and if you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.